Hello, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Gaming Music Podcast. This is episode 6. Yeah, episode 6. I'm really looking forward to this episode, and we've got a lot to talk about, actually. We got E3 has come and went, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of the games that were announced, some of the games I'm looking forward to, some of the ones that didn't even show up that I thought would really show up. So yeah, we've got plenty of time to talk about that, but in the meantime, let's get into this episode, and we're going to start off with Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, New Messiah. This track is great. I've been listening to it non-stop for like the past week. It's by Hidehiro Funachi. I hope you all enjoy this one. It's really catchy. I can never get enough Castlevania. I just think it's the best music in terms of any video game. I still do think that. It's just consistency. Like I said last time, it's just consistency. Amazing. Every time I hear another track, I think it's better than the last one. And thank you very much to everybody who's still giving me a lot of the recommendations. I really do appreciate it. This next one is a recommendation from Danny Ruse. This is for James Pond 2, codename Robocod. If you remember the old James Pond games, I remember them from playing them as a kid, but I don't actually recall them too good. You know, it's never really something that left a huge impact on me when I was younger. But I think it was because it was mostly a SNES game and actually had a Mega Drive, you know, a Genesis. But this one is from James Pond 2, and it is the main theme Immortal Mix, and it's by the late Richard Joseph. This actually sounds a lot like RoboCop. If you ever hear RoboCop's main theme from the film, it's actually inspired by that. It's really, really well done. What a nice little track. It's got like a hint of Christmas in that, and I'm wondering if that's actually from like the snow level that takes place in James Pond. I remember a snow level pretty well, probably because I couldn't get past it. Well, thank you very much for the recommendation there, Danny. I really appreciate that a lot. It was a lovely track. And this next track we've got coming up is actually from Nights into Dreams. This is Take the Snow Train. It is by Tomoko Sasaki and Fumi Kumatani. A really nice track. Hope you enjoy. All right, nice track. I love Nights into Dreams. I'm thinking about doing a playthrough for you know how I do a yearly playthrough of Christmas Nights every year for Christmas, and I'm thinking about maybe playing Nights into Dreams 2 again because it's actually all right. It's a good game. I think people didn't give that game enough of a chance back in the day when it came out. So onwards to some of the E3 stuff that I wanted to talk about. I wonder what everybody thinks about this new God of War. This new God of War looks really interesting. I mean, it's just like the answer for everything. It seems is give somebody a beard when they get older. You know, I love the way Kratos looks with his beard in that game. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a free roaming game. I've not looked too much into it, but it looked a bit like a free roaming game. I'm wondering who the main character is actually going to be. Is it going to be his son or is it going to be Kratos again? He looks very different. The graphics look absolutely unbelievable on the game. I always hate saying this, but like, it's just like it won't look like that when it comes out. Like, there's no way it's going to look like that when it comes out. If they want it to run at 30 FPS, it will look like that. If it goes at 60, like they'll have to tone those graphics down because they were far too nice to be running. Unless it's coming out in a PS4K that everyone's talking about, who knows? We need to talk about that stuff later as well. So yes, the new Zelda as well. That looks pretty interesting, right? Every single demo I've seen of people playing that game, people were setting stuff on fire. It looks like they were just burning the whole world. It looks pretty good though. I'm not entirely sure what the main objective of the game is going to be. Is it like more about survival? What's it called? It's actually called Zelda Breath of the Wild. Alrighty. So it looks like you can a lot more RPG elements in it. You're going to be able to like change clothes, change weapons at will, make new stuff, survive by actually eating food and like cooking it and stuff like that. And it looks like there's a lot more stealth gameplay in this game. It could be really good. I've really piqued my interest with how this game is looking. Did it look how I thought it was going to look? No, the graphics have been seriously toned down from the original reveal, which is fine. It's a Wii U game anyway, but it's like tempting me. You remember how I said a couple of episodes ago, will I pick up an NX to play this new game if it's going to be like the best way possible to play it? I might do. You know, like they've already got me because it's like a new Zelda and it actually looks pretty good. I would want to play it on the newer console. And I'm thinking if it comes to consoles nowadays, I might just pick up the Nintendo ones. You know, because we need to talk about the Project Scorpio as well in a bit. I want to know what you guys think about some of the games that were announced at E3. We also had a release date for The Last Guardian, October. Cool. Finally, we're going to be able to play that game, and it's going to be in a few months. It's not too far away. Got a feeling it could be delayed again, though. I don't know. It's like it's weird. It's like that game doesn't exist. But now it does. Also, they never showed anything regarding Red Dead Redemption 2, which is cool, I guess, because Rockstar are not really people to announce games at E3. They do what they want when they want. They think they're that special, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, no Red Dead Redemption 2, nothing regarding Shenmue 3, nothing regarding what else was it? Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, nothing regarding that. I really thought they would have shown something because I thought episode 1, since they're looking to break that game up into parts, I thought they were maybe going to show like the first part of the game that was going to be released relatively soon. But no, a lot of games. People said this E3 was really good. I kind of question it. It was all right, I guess. But I want to talk a lot. I'm going to like dedicate a little segment to Resident Evil 7 later on. I really want to talk about that and the Project Scorpio. So, seeing as we were talking about Zelda, I actually want to play this tune here, which is from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Astral Observatory, and it's by Koji Kondo and Toru Minegishi. That is a great theme from Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask and me have a weird relationship. All right. Um, I think Zelda Ocarina of Time is better. You know, it's my favorite one of the two. I actually do not. I don't really like Majora's Mask as much as what a lot of people love it, and I can completely understand because it is a good game. I actually put some serious time into that game not too long ago when it re-released on the 3DS, and I realised how good it was. Right, but it's still not on terms of level of Ocarina of Time for me. The main reason when it comes to Majora's Mask is, for me, it's just a personal thing. I do not like being timed in games. I do not like timed in games. I hate it. It's just something I cannot handle as being timed in a game. It makes me feel like I have to rush, and I just never like that in any video game. So it's actually reasons I've not picked up sequels to games because I've heard they actually have a time limit on them. But I can completely understand how good it is because when I did put the time limit to the back of my mind when playing the 3DS remake, I realised, oh, this game is actually pretty decent, and they got all the masks. It's the masks in the game that give you the power ups. I just wish you could play as the Fierce Deity version of Link a little bit more because it's the only version of his adult self that is in that game. It's a good game. I've still got the original N64 cartridge. I never get rid of any of my games. They're all treasures to me, dude. They're all gifts, presents from when you were younger. They're all hold ridiculous sentimental value to me. Okay, this next track we've got coming up is actually from Soul Calibur 2, Guided by Wind. This is from Junichi Nakatsuru, Yoshito Yano, Asuka Sakai, Ryo Hamoto, Ryoichi Takada, and Takagi. All the composers for Soul Calibur 2 they deserve so much credit because these tracks are just unbelievable. Great Soul Calibur music there. I was so disappointed when I never heard about a new Soul Calibur for E3. I could have honestly bet money that there was going to be a Soul Calibur 6. I could have put money on it that they were going to announce a new Soul Calibur this E3. Now, the only reason I say that is because the Twitter not too long ago said some really contradicting stuff, that they were in the process of like making something new, like watch out for a new announcement, and from the actual Soul Calibur Twitter, and nothing. I don't understand. Anyway, but Soul Calibur, I really did expect a new one to be getting made for Soul Calibur 6, but I think they have to like reboot that series and call it something else. Not Soul Calibur, like maybe go back to like Soul Edge, because when you start getting up into these ridiculous numbers for games, it can be a bit confusing sometimes. Saying that, Final Fantasy's on 15, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. Maybe we're getting to the stage where it doesn't really matter what numbers behind a game. It's just like when you see something like, say, Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur 6. Holy crap, I've not played the other 5 before that, or whatever. It could be a bit off-putting to like newer people. And that's obviously a thing that people take into consideration when they're releasing new games, rebooting new games. I actually found out recently, over the past couple of days, that you can play Soul Calibur 2, my favourite Soul Calibur, online on the Dolphin emulator with ridiculously good netcode. So I'm actually in the process of looking into how to set that up, because it's such a great game. It's the best Soul Calibur. It's actually one of the things I've always realised about, well, I've wondered, when it comes to video games, okay? Fighting games in general, when they have these world championships, like the EVO, I'll sometimes wonder, like, why they stick to playing the latest game if it's not as good as one of the older games. Like Soul Calibur 2 is the best Soul Calibur hands down. Like in terms of fighting, in terms of balance, in terms of excitement it brings when you watch it, compared to like Soul Calibur 5. It's just like that game was like bad, you know? But like why wouldn't they play Soul Calibur 2 over that? They now have a HD version of Soul Calibur 2 which is fully functional for offline play. And I just think it's like, start bringing back some of these older games that are so much better than some of the rubbish they are releasing now. Street Fighter 5 is getting so much bad credit right now. Like, that game is in bad condition with the fans. It's a pure lazy game. It really is lazy. I've stopped playing it entirely. I'm not even remotely interested. I'm back to playing the older fighting Street Fighters that I really, really like. And right, this next track I'm going to play is actually from Onimusha 3 Demon Siege. This is Samanowski's theme. It is by Masamichi Amano and Akira Kaeda. Ah, what a great theme. It just like the presence of a hero. That's what that theme tells me. It's because I've just started a Let's Play for Onimusha 3 on my channel, and yeah, it's because I started off with Onimusha 1 at the start, and then I've done Onimusha 2 last year. I'm now finishing it with Onimusha 3 to do the trilogy, even though there's 4 games. Like the first 3 are considered a trilogy, and the fourth is like a side thing. But yeah, that's on youtube.com/tastymond. I don't know if anybody ever wanted to check that out. My channel's not huge in terms of YouTube. It's just a side thing that I love doing. It's a complete and utter hobby. And nothing for Onimusha E3 either. I was expecting at least like a HD update. You know, I cannot believe Capcom are not going to give me a HD update of Onimusha series. It's just like, honestly. Why is it Capcom that I've got? You know why it is? It's because Capcom's got such great IP games. They created such great games, and like they just don't care about them anymore. That's exactly why I hate Capcom these days. Basically, it's 'cause they just don't care. I don't know what their problem is. Sometimes it's just they've got like one of the best libraries of any video games ever, and it's just nowadays they don't seem to care. That's what it feels like, or at least, or they just do not know what the fans want, or do they even care about fans? Do all they care about is money? And you know, if they cared about their fans, they would release a HD update for the old Onimushas. Just let us play them, because they took down Onimusha 3 off Steam. They took it down. I can't even buy that. They just removed the game from Steam. It doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, all right. Let's talk about the Project Scorpio then. I was really taken back when I heard about this. This Project Scorpio. It's not what I expected. It's not. I didn't expect it to be this. You know, I didn't. All right. So this Project Scorpio is coming out next year in the summer. It's the next Microsoft console. Already getting a new console. You know, like what's it been like 3 years since the Xbox One, and now they're wanting us to dish out more money for another console. If you want, it's completely up to you. These games are still going to be released on the Xbox One, and they're also going to have a Project Scorpio version, which is cool. They're not like alienating the previous fans that have supported them by buying the Xbox One. And this console is going to be the most powerful thing ever, basically. Like that's what they're coming out saying here, is that it's going to be the most powerful thing, even more powerful than PCs, high-end PCs, which is cool. I'm all for this. You know, it's like how much will it cost though? Is the question. Um, how much is it going to cost? Is it worth even buying? You know, because here's where I stand. Right, this is going to allow developers to create what they want with no limitations. That is exactly how they're saying this thing. I do not believe that. I don't believe that because of the fact that it's going to suffer what I think is the same fate as what PC suffers right now, held back by lesser, you know, with the consoles. And if the Project Scorpio is going to be this high end as they say, it will suffer the same kind of fate as the PC does now, because of the fact that you're still going to have an Xbox One and PS4 version at the end of the day. And you're going to have a Project Scorpio version just like you have a PC version. Are you trying to tell me that like this Project Scorpio version is going to be so much better than the Xbox One? Because like how I'm putting this is like the PC version gets kept back because of the consoles. You get a better version, obviously, that runs at 60 FPS and better graphics, but it could be better. And like I think that's the same kind of fate that the Project Scorpio will suffer. It'll basically be a PC for the console player. You know, if they're willing to spend that much money, because I do not think this thing's going to be cheap. I think it's going to be pretty ridiculous in terms of how much it's going to cost. It's not going to cost as much as a PC. I would maybe say like I'm thinking about £800. I honestly think it'll be like £800, which is I don't know how much is that in dollars. Oh, you guys work that out. I'm not too good at that stuff, but £800 I think it'll actually be, because what the specs that they're describing, they are not cheap. Will I buy the Project Scorpio? I don't think so. I think this is where I cut it off right here. If they're wanting me to buy an NX next year and a Project Scorpio, I can't do this. It's too much money. It's just like gaming was always a luxury, right? It always was when you were growing up, but like now these things are starting to cost serious money, and you just can't afford it at the end of the day. And if they're going to charge £800 for this ridiculous Xbox console that's so powerful, no, I can't do it. I can't afford it. I just bought a 1080 for my PC, and it took me a long time to save up for that. I think my PC is going to be my main gaming thing now for me, and just upgrade it throughout the years and have a Nintendo console on the side, because the only reason I have a console these days is for exclusives. And I'm starting to lose interest in some of the exclusives that are coming out, because everything's getting a PC version these days. Everything. Like Final Fantasy 15 is coming to the PS4 first, but the PC is getting a version, you know? So like why not? It's just going to save me so much more money, and I want to know what you guys think about the Project Scorpio, because where do you guys stand on it? Do you think it'll be how I think it'll be? Do you think it'll still be held back by the lesser versions of the game? Like that's how it seems, you know? Or at least that's what I'm thinking. It's the first thing I thought of, is that it will suffer the same problem as PC in terms of it'll get held back by the weakest version of the game. Like that's kind of how it goes. But anyway, this next track I'm going to play is from Sonic and Knuckles. This is Lava Reef Zone Act 1, and this is by Jun Senu and Howard Drossin. Sonic and Knuckles, I absolutely love that game. You know, it actually kind of hit me not too long ago when I found out that I replayed Sonic 3 and Knuckles. How many people were not actually aware that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is required? Like you need both games in order to play that game fully. It's like Sonic 3 on its own actually got a lot of bad credit back in the day for being such a short game, and it's because people didn't know if you combined it with Sonic and Knuckles, you got the full game that is, in my opinion, it's the best Sonic game they ever released, is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like, I think a lot of people agree with that. The people who think like Sonic 2 is a great game as well, but like Sonic 3 and Knuckles just blows it out of the water for me. And it was actually quite hard to find out back in the day that you had to combine both these games in order to play the full game. Like it's not like nowadays. If you need information on a game, it's out there. You can get it pretty easily. Like back in the day, you kind of had to buy a gaming magazine once a month in order to like keep up with the latest stuff. And I remember that's how I found out about it. I bought a Mega Drive magazine that told me that Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 combine in order to play this huge game, and that's what happened. And I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's my favorite Sonic game, and yeah, I would love them to like maybe do a remake of that and kind of like change it up. Anyway, we're going to jump straight into the next one here. This is Streets of Rage 2 Under Logic, one of my favorite tracks from Streets of Rage 2. It's by Yuzo Koshiro. Short and sweet, perfection. Absolutely love it. This next track is actually going to be from Street Fighter Alpha 3. This is E Honda's theme. This theme has been growing on me because everybody I'm playing lately is beating me up with E Honda. It's by Takayuki Iwai, Yuki Iwai, and Hideki Okagawa. E Honda, I hate you. Anyway, I want to talk about Resident Evil 7 here. Resident Evil 7 got announced for E3. It's really, really different. I like that it's different, you know? Well, it's you would think it was PT if you looked at the trailer. I also played the demo. I experienced the demo. The demo wasn't like great. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like it looked like a knockoff PT to me when I played it. The thing I'm looking at for these new Resident Evils is this one's taking a completely different approach, and I like that it's going to be completely different. Like I said, I would like them to. I've done a little video about it on YouTube explaining how I feel about Resident Evil 7, but I like that they're taking a different approach, and that maybe 7 should incorporate new characters, an entirely different kind of story, just to make it really, really different from 1 to 6. Like, start something new from 7 onwards. And it's also going to have ghosts in it, which is interesting, because ghosts have never really ever made their way into the Resident Evil franchise. It happened in the Resident Evil 4 beta. It was actually once going to be paranormal. You can find it on YouTube. It was going to be very Silent Hillish, paranormal. And the reason that they ended up dropping that idea back in Resident Evil 4 is because it didn't suit the franchise at all, having ghosts in it. And now that Resident Evil is on a downward slope, maybe they're looking at just doing something completely different here by bringing in paranormal into the story, which is interesting. And I definitely will play it. I'll pick it up and we'll see how it is. It's going to be a first-person game as well. It's not going to be tank controls or third person or fixed camera angles. It's going to be a first-person game, and it's going to be really different from what the trailer showed, and it's going to be very, very different from the demo itself. They actually said that it's not going to be like this when the final game comes out. It's basically PT all over again, because PT wasn't going to be like how the demo showed when they had that. It was going to be called Silent Hills, and it was going to be completely different to what the demo showed, but it was going to be very horror. It's going to be really, really scary. And I'm not entirely good at scary games, I'll be 100% honest. I never ever have been. It took a lot of effort for me to complete Silent Hill 2 because, honestly, I don't want to give myself nightmares at night. I used to be alright at playing scary games, that's the thing, but nowadays, why do I want to put myself through that, It's one of the reasons I've never ever been able to sit through Amnesia, even though I really want to. It's just too scary. The sense of dread of walking forward is always there, and it's just something I don't like experiencing sometimes. But seeing as this game is Resident Evil 7, I will 100% make an effort. It's coming out in January 2017, and that's interesting as well because they're making Resident Evil 7 now, but they've already told us they're making a Resident Evil 2 remake. And if they're looking to do new characters, new story, they're kind of going to be kicking themselves when they announce the Resident Evil 2 remake and show that, because that'll be going back to the older story, and then people might be more interested in that, and who knows what will happen there. They might shoot themselves in the foot with this one. I'm just a bit worried, I guess, and we'll see how it goes. But the way it is I'm looking at Resident Evil 7, completely different approach, different type of game entirely, so it could be good. We'll need to wait and see. But like I said, the trailer and demo didn't scream anything out to me that said that I really, really want to play that game. It was just nothing really caught my eye and was wow, I want to play that game. It just didn't have that effect on me, So I'm okay with waiting, really, for that game. So this next track I've got coming up is House of the Dead 2. This is another one from House of the Dead 2. We had one a couple of episodes ago. It was a really good theme. It was the Magician theme, if you remember. This one is the Chapter 2 theme, and it is by Tetsuya Kawauchi. Alright, straight on to the next track then. This is actually from Hearthstone. This is called Tricks of the Trade and it's by Peter McConnell. This was actually recommended by Darren Keller. That's right. Thank you very much for this recommendation, dude. I actually do play Hearthstone from time to time and I really enjoy the music. This is actually my favourite track from Hearthstone. It's the music and it's very relaxing. It's like thinking music, you know. If nobody's ever played Hearthstone, I seriously recommend it because it's a fun little game. You know, don't let yourself get too addicted to it or anything like that because it is one of those Blizzard type games that can have you addicted within the first couple of games. You know, but this is really good music. Hearthstone's got some really popular music. Please enjoy it. we're starting to wind down the episode now, though, guys, and this next track is actually from Final Fantasy 13-2. This is called Night of the Goddess, and it's by Mitsuru Suzuki. I actually think Final Fantasy 13-2 has got one of the best OSTs I've heard in a Final Fantasy game. It's really good. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 13-2 actually. I really enjoyed that game. I played it to death, personally. Final Fantasy 13 was not a good game, so the 13 series had a pretty bad rep going into the sequel. But the sequel was so different. It was really well done. They gave you like a free roaming land, and it's got a couple of addictive aspects to it, where you get like drops from enemies, and there's some really tough enemies, and I just thought they'd done a really good job on 13-2. The actual Square Enix gave what the fans wanted for Final Fantasy 13-2, and then the fans still had something to complain about. It's really hard to, try and appease to everybody, appeal to everybody when they're making a new Final Fantasy game, because the series has got such credit from over the years. It's obviously really hard. I can imagine, This next track is actually going to be from Castlevania Lords of Shadow. This is Belmont's theme by Oscar Araggio. Castlevania Lords of Shadow was the reimagining of the world, and I really loved it. It's got completely different music from the older Castlevanias, though, but I still think it's equally as good, just a completely different approach. guys, that's going to do it for episode 6. I really hope people have enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed doing it. Me, Tasty Mond, and please keep sending me your recommendations to me on Twitter at TastyMond. Also, you can catch me on YouTube, youtube.com/TastyMond, and all this is up on SoundCloud as well if it's easier for you. Just everything regarding me is TastyMond. So, yes, I really appreciate all the support for having these podcasts and taking all feedback. And the number one thing right now for me, I understand, is honestly, guys, I'm trying my best to get a new microphone for this podcast specifically because I know it's not a good microphone for this podcast. You know, the way I looked at it is if I looked at all the problems before doing this podcast, I wouldn't have done it, because there's all this little nitpicking stuff. Like, I'm not an audio expert. I really just done this out of the passion of doing it. And the microphone works. I've actually bought 2 microphones already for them to be worse than this one and cost about £80 more, which is hard to believe. If you can believe that a £100 microphone can give you static background noise. £100. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, so I'm basically doing as much research as possible right now to get a new microphone and the best one that I can find. And this one doesn't give static in the background. You see, you can't hear static, but the other ones do. The ones that cost so much more money, and I don't understand. I'm not an audio expert, so I'm like literally in the process of trying to get the best thing possible. And I appreciate everybody who's bearing with, because I know it can have little problems here and there. If I speak too loud, it can sound very poppy, But yes, please bear with me. It's my number one priority right now to get that better. And yeah. So if you've got any questions, guys, please hit me up on Twitter then and give me some recommendations. And I think for the next episode, I might be looking at doing a special. It'll be a special that's like, because when I've done this podcast, I do want to do specials in between the episodes, like maybe it would be like a Genesis Mega Drive special episode where we just play Genesis Mega Drive music, or just a specific series of music, like a whole episode dedicated to Castlevania. I can't wait to do it. It could be the next episode. I'm not sure. We'll just need to wait and see. That's why I really want as much feedback as possible to get some of your guys' opinions. And yeah. Well, thanks very much for listening to episode 6. And I'm going to leave you with another song here that I think is unbelievable. It's from World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. It's called Invincible. And it's by Russell Brower, Derek Duke, and Glenn Stafford. I hope you all enjoy it. And I will see you back here in a couple of weeks for episode 7. Please take it easy.